I'm Dr. Heather Sandison, and today I'm going to share with you some of my favorite supplements for preventing and reversing cognitive decline. First is a nootropic formula. So many supplement companies have options here, but one of my favorites is Qualia Mind. This contains a combination of things like citicoline, huperzine, bacopa. The formula is designed to stack many of the things that we know help cognitive function in a very sophisticated way, helping our brains have more balance when it comes to neurotransmitters like dopamine and acetylcholine. This helps us with focus, with recall, with the ability to create words and sentences and have a functional thought process throughout the day. It also contains a little bit of caffeine. So caffeine can be very helpful. Many of us have experienced this, that once we've had a little caffeine, it feels like our brains turn on. We can cope with more, we can get more done. And this product contains a little bit of caffeine as well as whole coffee bean extract for exactly that purpose. So this is a nice way to put together a lot of the things, basically stack together a lot of the nootropics that help our brains. We're only having to take out one bottle to have a handful of pills, and it keeps it simple so that if you're not having to keep track of multiple bottles. NeuroActive's Brain Sustain and MemorAll are also ones that I'll use with patients depending on what their sensitivities are and if they can tolerate certain things. So this gives you a few options. Typically, we're taking quite a few of these throughout the day. Of course, with Qualia, because it does contain caffeine, we're taking it earlier in the day. And then I also recommend that people pulse this. So if you have active cognitive decline, if you have dementia, if you've been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, you probably want to take it every day for 3 to 6 months. But after that, we want to pulse it. So go to 5 days a week and you take it some days and then take a break, take it some days, take a break. And this allows our bodies to prevent habituation or becoming too dependent on the substances. So highly recommend these products. The next thing that I recommend to many of my patients is a Detox Factors product. So many of the supplement companies, again, make a product like this that help with phase 2 liver support. Our body's wisdom is so incredible to me. If we don't have enough of the nutrients that are responsible for keeping detox going in the liver, we will actually stop. Our livers will stop doing phase 1 detox. And this is because that intermediate metabolite that's made during phase 1 detox before phase 2 detox in the liver is oftentimes more toxic than the original substance itself. So we need to make sure that we have enough of those phase 2 nutrients to help to keep that flow going through the liver so that we can eliminate the toxins that can affect cognitive function. A greens powder like this one, indigo greens, is a great, easy way to get in those plant nutrients that are so critical for cognitive function and brain health. So if you find that you struggle to get enough of your greens in every day, just supplement. Supplements are supplemental. When we don't get enough of the nutrients that we need, just add a scoop of this into your smoothie, into water even. Very simply, just keep enough greens in your day. There are some days when I do this in the morning if I'm not sure where my next meal is coming from, if I'm traveling, if I'm going to be out of town, I'm running through airports or eating on the go. Having a greens powder available so that you can be assured that you're getting enough greens every day. This is an easy way to get a little shortcut to getting the optimal amount of greens you need every day. Phosphatidylserine and phosphatidylcholine are two nutrients I use regularly, particularly in my patients who've experienced traumatic brain injuries or have excess brain inflammation. These can help to repair cells in the brain, and they also help to modulate cortisol, and phosphatidylcholine in particular helps with detox as well as cell structure. Every cell in our brain and in our body has a membrane around it, and these two supplements help with the integrity of that cell membrane, and they also are actors that help in many other ways as well. So these are an efficient way to get optimal function in those cells at a membrane level, but also with cell signaling and other components of detox. Zinc is one of my favorite brain supplements because it does so much for us. It again does heavy lifting in multiple areas of our body. It's good for immune function, it's great for hormone production, it's good for our hair, skin, and nails, and it's good for cognitive function and neurotransmitter balance. Zinc is one of the essential nutrients to converting neurotransmitters like glutamate to GABA. GABA is that feeling of 5 o'clock Friday where you can kick your feet up and nothing's as big of a deal. It's how we get rid of stress and internalize that less. It's how we get to sleep. And if we don't have enough zinc, which is very common, then we won't convert glutamate to GABA. Glutamate is very helpful, of course, for memory, motivation, for mental clarity, but too much of it excess glutamate leads to anxiety and can prevent us from making memories or getting the sleep that we need for cognitive function and brain function. So I highly recommend zinc to most of my patients. However, I recommend testing as well, knowing if you need enough, how much you need, getting the right dosing, and doing that precision medicine piece of testing and then retesting to know if you got enough or we overshot. Vitamin D3 is called a vitamin, but it's actually a hormone. It's a fat-soluble hormone that is responsible for signaling that affects our bones and our brains. Often you'll see this combined with K2, another vitamin essential for bone health, especially as we age. Now, if you're on a blood thinner, you want to usually avoid vitamin K, or at least talk to your provider so that you're not getting too much of that and interfering with your the medication and how effective that will be. But for the most part, the combination of vitamin D with K, having enough of that for bone support, immune function, and for brain support is very helpful and typically a no-brainer. Omega-3s are crucial to brain health. They also help with skin and mood and so many other things. Every one of our cells has a membrane around it, and then inside of our cells, the organelles, things like mitochondria and the nucleus that protects our genetic information, they all have membranes that are made up of fats. As these fats are broken down through metabolism, through regular cell death, so that they can be recycled, if those fats are not of high quality and high integrity, then they can lead to inflammation in the system. So the goal when we take omegas is that we feed our bodies with these good high integrity fats so that later on, 6-12 months down the road, when that cell that these fats are incorporated into doesn't contribute to inflammation. They also have more immediate anti-inflammatory effects. And so some people will notice that when they take omegas in abundance, they have a reduction in pain in their system if they're maybe struggling with joint pain or inflammation somewhere. So these can be helpful in many, many ways. Other people will notice mood benefits, gut changes, lots of benefits from taking enough omegas. Omega supplements are supplemental, so you want to make sure that you're getting those good foods that include omegas, things like cold water fish, including sardines, wild salmon, and anchovies. Also, avoiding grain-fed beef or other animal protein that's fed things that they're not accustomed to eating. You want to have only 100% grass-fed and organic red meat, and that will contribute to actually better fat ratios. So you want to avoid too many omega-6s, which are going to come from grain-fed animals, and then increase those omega-3s, which are more likely to come from grass-fed animals, as well as from, of course, the salmon and anchovies and sardines, the cold water fish. And then supplementally, you can add more additional omegas through pills, and making sure that these are well-sourced, high-integrity supplements. If you ever open a bottle of omegas and you smell rancid oil, that not only isn't good for you, it's bad for you. So go ahead and throw it out and get one that is of better quality and hasn't gotten hot. Typically what happens is they become oxidized or they get too hot and then the oils turn rancid. They are not very stable, and so keeping them cold is important, and making sure that that whole process from when the fish was caught to when that supplement ended up in your cabinet, that they've been kept cold and been well taken care of from start to finish until they get into your bodies. Magnesium threonate is another really helpful supplement for your brain. Magnesium threonate is specific to the brain and crosses the blood-brain barrier more easily than other forms of magnesium. Some forms of magnesium, like mag oxide or mag citrate, can be helpful for bowels if you suffer with constipation. They can also cause diarrhea, of course, if you get too much of them. Mag threonate does not have that effect on the bowels. typically for most people. So you can take it safely regardless of what's going on in your gut, and know that this is more specifically working in your brain. So the different types of magnesium are important to know about, and talk to your provider if you have questions about what's going to work best for you. Sometimes we use magnesium glycinate for more calming effects. So there are different times you use different types of magnesiums, and mag-threonate is the one that I would recommend that's best for your brain. NAD+, or niacinamide adenine dinucleotide, is another supplement that's well known for reversing aging, and also can help people feel more energy, better cognitive function, more focus, mental clarity, and also a recovery after stress. People will often notice more resilience after getting NAD. So typically we want to do this by IV. It's not particularly well absorbed through the gut. However, if you've gotten some NAD supplementally through IV and then you want to maintain that with oral supplementation, that can be very helpful and very effective, and certainly is something that we consider for all of our dementia patients here in my clinic.